Alright, we just got a few more effects to go through. These ones are pretty simpler. Just another example of me being able to talk so fucking well. Anyways, we'll stop with tape stop. We'll start with tape stop. Man. I'm just gonna play a note and I'll press the play button and you can listen to what happens. So basically what tape stop emulates is those DJ little DJ moments when the song's playing and the DJ does some magic shit and it goes meow to nothing. That's what tape stop tries to emulate. And stop time is the amount of time it takes to go to zero volume, zero water. And start time is the amount of time it takes to get back to normal. And you can control the contour of the starting and stopping with this little saw shape in the middle. Yeah. Frequency shifting. This one's interesting. Basically, it takes every frequency and shifts it up or down by a set amount of hertz. So by default, 0 hertz is no effect. And the effect the frequency shifter has when you move it up mostly is it'll take the lower frequencies and they end up getting kind of bunched up into a kind of sine wave sound. It's an interesting effect. If you use it in little bits, it can be pretty useful. Usually moving it down doesn't do much. There's the pitch shifter, which is related to the frequency shifter. It moves by semitones and cents, which are a bit easier to get more consonant sounds out of. It's a granular pitch shifter, and if you've ever heard of granular synthesis, it'll take a sound and chop it into little fragments called grains. And you can control the grain size, and it'll change the timbre of the sound, but only if you move the sound up or down, or else you won't be able to tell. And if you turn off correlate, which makes everything a bit cleaner, you can get some pretty muddy sounds. That's up to you to work with. Try out resonator. You may have heard people call this a comb filter. It's fine. Basically, what it does is it'll take a saw or square shape and resonate it at a specified frequency or note. So right now it's resonating at B1. You can use it at lower pitches and basses, and that makes an interesting effect. Just something to work with. Decay is the amount of time it takes for the resonating wave to decay to nothing. Man, I need to find a better way of saying that. Intensity is like the amount of resonating and the amount of resonance, and the mix is very complicated knob that no one quite knows how it works. And ring mod is the last snap-in. I wasn't really sure where to put the resonator and the ring mod in these effects tutorials, but I guess I'm putting them here because they're kind of related to pitch effects. Ring mod is similar to amplitude modulation. I guess I could have put this in the distortion video, but anyways, I guess it's here. It's similar to amplitude modulation. If you know what amplitude modulation does, if you don't know what it does, basically you take a wave and you modulate it by another wave, and at the bottom of the wave, like the bottommost part of the wave, that's 0 amplitude. So the sound will be off at 0 amplitude, otherwise known as max negative amplitude, and the max positive amplitude is the max volume. Ring mod works a bit different. Instead of max negative amplitude being off, the center line or 0 crossing is off. So it's slightly different, but they're similar. Bias will move the sine oscillator or the modulator up or down. As with a few other effects, you can use the sideband input to modulate the sound. I'm just using a sine oscillator for this example. It also has low pass, band pass noise, and modulating by itself, but those three don't really seem to do much most of the time. Be nice if they had like a triangle or a saw or a square wave to work with, but
I digress. Okay.
Bias will move the sine wave away from the center line, or the zero crossing, which is basically DC offset. Rectify is similar, except it'll make the whole wave positive in amplitude or only negative in amplitude, depending on which way you move the knob. Mix will mix in the signal, the wet signal. And frequency is the frequency of the knob, frequency of the wave. I am dumb. And spread delays one of the channels to create kind of a stereo field of sorts.